on your side. You're watching News 19 at noon.
Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining us for News 19 at noon. I'm Darcy Strickland. We start off today with continuing coverage. South Carolina has now filed a lawsuit against the federal government. Yesterday, the state attorney general's office filed a suit against the National Department of Energy for not meeting agreements to get the plutonium out of the Savannah River site. The lawsuit is aiming to get back $100 million. This is the first and largest lawsuit the state has filed. In the lawsuit, State Attorney General Alan Wilson says the state shouldn't be a dumping ground for weapons-grade plutonium. We're also following a new report. The Governor Henry McMaster wants to continue the VC Summer Project. The Wall Street Journal says McMaster is looking into several different ways to keep VC Summer open. One possibility is selling state-owned utility or selling the public utilities ownership in the unfinished construction project. A spokesperson for the governor says he would not comment on any specific dealings or conversations that McMaster has had about the project. But a state senator says the governor has a lot of ideas on how to keep construction alive. One option is to ask for help from the White House. A Santee Cooper spokesperson would not comment on this story. However, she says Santee Cooper would listen to offers to buy its share of the failed project. A week after abandoning the construction, former employees are wondering what their legal rights are today. Hundreds of former workers packed the Carolina Event Center in Winsboro yesterday. Attorney Amy Gaffney led the informational meeting, saying it was not meant to establish an attorney-client relationship, but could lead to a lawsuit against the company for its failure to give adequate warning of the layoffs. One of the former workers says he feels they all deserve to be compensated.
We've seen a lot of angry people, and if you ask me, we have every right to be angry. You know, people come from all over the U.S. There's people from California, people from Texas, all over. You come here and work, and you just get laid off like you don't mean a thing. We got to show that, this is not acceptable. This is not acceptable at all. Santee Cooper and SCG, they need to be held accountable.
Fairfield County Councilman Jimmy Ray Douglas says the county also has attorneys working on possible legal remedies, but couldn't comment any further. Ridgely County deputies are still investigating a shooting from last night. It happened on Elders Pond Circle in Columbia. The shooting happened just before 6. The victim was taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Deputies say this may be the result of a Craigslist deal that went bad. Investigators are still working with witnesses to find the suspect. If you have any information that can help, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers. Their number is 1-888-CRIME-SC. We now know the name of the victim who was killed when her car rolled over her. Lexington County Coroner Margaret Fisher has identified the victim as 84-year-old Pearlie Mae Wilbur of Columbia. The incident happened yesterday afternoon when the vehicle rolled over her in her driveway. Lexington County deputies are still investigating. State officials are still searching for, or have canceled, I should say, the search for an endangered person out of Lancaster County. SLED says 75-year-old Bobby Baker of Lancaster has been found safe. The last time anyone saw him was yesterday in the nearby town of Heath Springs. Columbia officials are still on the scene investigating a natural gas leak. According to the Columbia Fire Department, the leak is at the 2500 block of Two Notch Road. Officials say that Germany and McFadden roads have been closed. No injuries have been reported so far. Of course, we'll keep you updated as more information comes in. And across town on Garner's Ferry Road, that area has reopened after having its own gas leak. It happened in the 7800 block of Garner's Ferry Road near the Bilo just outside of the Columbia city limits. All lanes of traffic were blocked for about an hour, but traffic is now back to normal. Fire officials think that a construction crew accidentally hit a pipeline, causing that leak.
Now, the Midland's most accurate forecast with meteorologist Efren Afonte.
Well, the showers have already moved into the Midlands. It's widely scattered all throughout our Midland communities, but no lightning in it, and it's not severe. But we're expecting quite a bit of heavy rainfall. Right now at the airport, 77 degrees. The temperatures have dropped in the last hour. Winds have now shifted out of the northwest at 7 miles an hour. We're expecting a lot of rainfall and thunderstorms for this afternoon. Potentially heavy rainfall. Updated forecast, only a high of 81 degrees. Then more showers overnight tonight. A low of 70. We'll do it all over again tomorrow. Showers and thunderstorms, heavy rainfall, only a high of 83 degrees. There's more rain in the forecast. I'll show you that coming up in just a few minutes. Darcy.
President Trump is expected to participate in a briefing on the opioid crisis with Health and Human Services Secretary Tom Price. The president's budget is asking for more than $10 billion for drug treatment, a $200 million increase, but it would cut $167 million from abuse prevention. Opioid deaths continue to skyrocket, with many estimates showing that close to 90 Americans die from it every day. The president is on a working vacation at his golf club in Bedminster, New Jersey. Yesterday, he held an hour-long call to discuss tensions in North Korea. It has been weeks now since President Trump withdrew the U.S. from the Paris Climate Accords, and since then, the administration has compiled research on the effects of climate change on the weather. Major Garrett brings us the latest on the newest climate development in the nation's capital.
Obama's talking about all of this with the global warming and that, a lot of it's a hoax. It's a hoax.
Mr. Trump has a history of challenging the science behind climate change, including one suggesting, quote, the concept of global warming was created by and for the Chinese. But a draft report from 13 federal agencies asserts the impact of climate change is being felt right now, creating higher temperatures and even causing some extreme weather events.
I do not believe that climate change is a hoax.
Scott Pruitt, administrator for the Environmental Protection Agency, was forced to admit during his confirmation hearing that he does not believe climate change is made up. But since being confirmed by the Senate, Pruitt has questioned human involvement.
I think that measuring with precision human activity on the climate is something very challenging to do, and there's tremendous disagreement about the degree of impact.
But the report awaiting the White House's approval states that many lines of evidence demonstrate that human activities, especially emissions of greenhouse gases, are primarily responsible for recent observed climate change.
I was elected to represent the citizens of Pittsburgh, not Paris.
In June, President Trump pulled out of the Paris Climate Accords, a global agreement aimed at reducing greenhouse gas emissions. The president said the decision was to protect American jobs, and he promised to protect the environment.
We're going to have the cleanest air. We're going to have the cleanest water. We will be environmentally friendly, but we're not going to put our businesses out of work.
When President Trump touts the accomplishments of his administration, a lot of it deals with regulatory policy, rolling back Obama administration regulations dealing with the environment, greenhouse gases, and clean water. The administration relentlessly argues that those rules and regulations did far more economic harm than environmental good. Major Garrett, CBS News, Bridgewater, New Jersey.
Well, the United States is just one of only 3 nations not in the Paris Climate Accords, joining Syria and Nicaragua. There have been some of you receiving some strange messages on your cell phones lately, and you're not alone. The messages say that your phone is infected with viruses. It also says that your phone will delete your apps and pictures. Apple technicians say the message is harmless as long as you do not accept it. They also say to keep an eye out for spelling errors and content errors. This is how you know it's fake. You should also try to avoid the scam, as it could take your credit card information and more. This morning over at W.A. Perry Middle School, students had a chance to prepare for the upcoming school year. The kids all came together for the school's 6th grade Let's Leap camp. The camp is designed to help students going to middle school prepare for the move from elementary school. It's going on from today until Thursday. Camp administrators say they hope the camp helps to make the transition smooth.
It's a very big transition, and that's why we wanted to welcome them in the summer, so when they show up on the first day of school, which is August the 22nd, they would not feel so apprehensive about being the little people on the campus. They would kind of know the campus and see some familiar faces.
Well, the camp at W.A. Perry Middle School is on Barhamville Road here in Columbia. It has been a little more than a month since Columbia native John Blackwell, the drummer for Prince, died in Florida. And to honor his memory, W.E. Lyles and some other musicians will be putting on a free tribute concert for him. The concert will be tomorrow at 7 at the Keenan Auditorium on Pisgah Church Road. Straight ahead today on News 19 at noon, meteorologist Efren Infante says we can expect to see some rain today. He has a look at your midweek forecast coming up after the break.